Yeah, g'day guys, this is Jordan here. I'm doing my hashtag AskJK video. I'm sorry for the delay, I've just had a couple of things I needed to do. Currently I'm in Germany at the moment. It's quite late and I've just put the kids to bed, so hence I'm whispering a little. But yeah, let's answer your questions, hey? Is there anything I didn't do that I wish I would have? Well, I never won a world title and I never headlined at Horizons. Those are both stuff I would love to have done. But you know what, at the end of the day, I've got to look back at my career and I've got to think, you know what, I had a good run. So I've got no regrets with that. What would I take back if I could? This is a bit of a two people answer at the same time. What the Engine of Chaos did to Moss Edwards was cowardly. Anything I've done that I would consider cowardly. To that I would have to answer with the vicious kind. It's a period of my life I'm not particularly proud of, and it's kind of affected how I interact with a few of the boys out the back. So I'm not proud of that. Will I still be associated in any way? Well, I can't really say anything, but let's just say I'll be doing a few backstage things at the UGWC. I can't say anything yet because I don't want to spoil anything, but I will be working for UGWC. Mr. King, I'm kind of a new fan to the UGWC. I was exposed to a little bit of your history during the In Your Hands pay-per-view as it related to Moss Edwards, one of my good mates. How you going, Marshall? What are some of the other wrestlers I've had a history with, and some of my favourite moments in my career? Well, I've had run-ins with a few different people. One of probably the most prominent at the moment would be Jet Summers. Him and I were really good mates. At the moment, him and I get on, but there was some stuff that happened with the TVK that, well, him and I just don't see eye to eye on that. So, you know, we do sort of get into a couple of verbals over it. You know, there's also Eden Morgan, Dave Rydell, Donovan Hastings. There's a few people that I've in this company that I have a bit of history with. That, yeah, you know, I still talk to on occasion. Favourite moment in my career would probably be the time I fought for the world title in Sydney. You know, it wasn't my hometown, but it was in front of Australian fans, and it was a huge moment for me. I didn't win, and I'll get into that a bit later on, but from what I did, I was very proud of myself, and you know, I probably wouldn't change that match for anything. So that also kind of goes into my greatest accomplishment, one of my greatest accomplishments. The others, of course, like winning championships, been nominated a couple of times for Best Face, Best Character. I've had a few of my role plays. Oh, sorry, not even role plays. Sorry, I do a bit of role playing on the side. No, some of my promos got nominated for Promo of the Year. I was very, very happy with that. A couple of the storylines I've been involved in have been nominated for awards. So yeah, those are a few of my favourites. Least favourite moments, like I said, the only one I can think of off the top of my head is probably the vicious kind, because of the way I treated my friends, of the way I treated the fans, of the way I treated my family. You know, it's stuff I look back on now, and I'm really, really ashamed of that whole incident. So, would it be possible? Sorry, that's a bit later on. Favorite wrestler to work with through my career? Well, the one I always had the best matches with, I would probably say, is Jet Summers. Him and I, we know each other well. We know how we fight, and every match we put on has been pretty damn awesome. So I will have to say Jet for that. Is it possible for a return, even if a little bit? Well, never say never. But as it stands right now, I've done everything I set out to do. I've got no reason to come back. So at the moment, I have to say, don't count on it. But like I said, I can't predict the future. I don't know what's going to happen. So it's a case of never say never. Greatest match in my career, the one for the world title, without a doubt, was probably the biggest. Then there's also, the first bushfire match. That was TWA Hardcore Heaven. And that one was for the TWA World Heavyweight Championship as well, actually. And that was fought in Melbourne at the MCG in front of 50,000. So that one stands out to me. It was... the bushfire match is something else. It's hard to describe, really, but yeah, that was also up there. The closest I ever came to the world title was years ago in my home country. Can I consider my career a success without being a world champion? Well, here's the thing a lot of wrestling fans don't understand, is that in any company there's only one world belt, which means by definition not everyone's going to win it. It doesn't necessarily mean you were shit or anything like that. No, it just means you didn't win it. I've always held the belief that anyone on their best night can be world champion. But like I said, there's only one belt out there. And unfortunately this isn't, kids football. You don't win a trophy for participating. So can I consider my career a success? Well, honestly I do. I've done everything I wanted to do. I've set myself up pretty nice. I've set up my family fairly well. So yeah, I do consider myself to be a success. What are my plans now that I've retired? Well, like I said, I'm going to be working backstage for the UGWC in some sort of role. I'm not going to spoil anything just yet. But yeah, I will be working directly for the UGWC. Apart from that, enjoy my time off, spend time with family, with the wife and kids, just enjoy life, really. That's all I've got planned. What do you think is the highlight of your career, the true pinnacle of the Cyclone? Well, I kind of brought this up before, actually, but being up there for the world title and actually giving it a hard crack, I would consider as one of my biggest matches. And then, of course, there's the several bushfire matches I've been a part of. I still hold the record for most wins in that match. And look, I'll be honest, I love those matches, but god damn it, being inside the bushfire match, it's kind of what led to me retiring at such a young age. It's not something that I think anyone should be a part of, and in fact, I've known people who have said, "Oh, I'm going into the bushfire match. What do I do?" I've told them, "Quit. Just don't show, because it will destroy you." It's one of those matches that it's really hard to explain, basically. I still have flashbacks. Let's see. Who is my most bitter rival? Well, most bitter rival, it's kind of a hard one to say. Someone I really do not get along with, I would probably say, would be Tim Kingsley. I still think the bloke's a wanker. Yeah, I don't like to throw that shit around lightly, but he was an absolute tosser. Not just in the ring, but backstage. He was the worst person to work with. And I cringed every time I saw my name on a card with that bloke. That it steamed me. Like, every time I saw him, I did not like him. What is my fondest memory of being a wrestler? My fondest memory? Well, hard to really define that one. I'd probably say up there would be, meeting my wife, Jasmine. I actually met her through the GIW. She was a big fan. And I met her after a show. That's how we got together. So that one will always rank. Like, that will always be number one to me. But in terms of actual in-ring stuff, getting to compete at Horizons, it was a massive show that I'd always sort of respected. Even, I came in about Horizons 4, but the first 3 Horizons, before I joined GIW, I'd watched, and I loved it. It was my favourite show to watch. It would be the one pay-per-view I'd never miss. Then there was, I got to be part of a few events with a wrestler that from Twisted Fight Club I grew up watching and idolized. I've been involved in events with Travis Roberts. That's also, actually, I should say, that's kind of a regret from earlier on, is that I never got to face him in the ring. He was a large reason why I got into wrestling, and if it weren't for him, I wouldn't be there. So, kind of shit that I never got to fight him. But I have been involved in events with him. I've spoken to Travis from time to time. Whether or not he sees me as an actual competitor, that's another story. But, I've got to meet him. I've got to speak to him. And, as someone growing up as an ardent Travis Roberts fan, that actually is pretty, it was pretty up there. So, any road stories or backstage stories that I can tell you guys? Well, Jet, don't hate me for this, but I have to tell the story because it was hilarious. A little while ago, Jet Summers did this whole shtick where he came out dressed as Donovan Hastings' wife. I can't exactly remember why, but those two were involved in a feud, and he basically dressed up as a woman and came out and pretended to be his wife. He sort of became known to the guys in the back for that stunt. I can't remember for the life of me who did this. But it was a couple of weeks after, someone actually, while he was in the ring, took his street gear out of the locker, dumped it, and replaced it with a dress. And, we all thought, oh yeah, it's funny. He'll get his shit back. And, no, Jet rocked it. He not only sort of laughed along with the guys when, he got backstage, but he, instead of just wearing his gear in a t-shirt, he rocked the dress. And he went, we all went out to a bar afterwards. He was, obviously he doesn't drink, but, he came out and hung out with some of us, and he was still wearing the dress. It was fucking awesome. Like, the fact that he could take a rib like that and just sort of run with it, it was, it's something I do respect him for, and it's one of those stories I will always remember.